Well, I just wanted to officially welcome you all to this event. We're so excited to be here. We are Friends of Figma, Miami. And yeah, give a round of applause. Yeah, you're here. You made it. Thank you for being here. We couldn't have made this possible without um, our partner, Lorena. So let's give Lorena, she is the director of, no, no, sorry. You'll introduce yourself. She does a lot here in UM, but yeah, we've been talking for months to make this happen, so we finally made it happen. So anyway, who's the first time in one of these events? Raise. Oh wow, okay, we have plenty, a lot of first timers. Great. Well, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. What about second timers? Second timers. Okay, cool, awesome. Thank you. Welcome back. Third time or three times? Cool, awesome. 4 and plus times. There you go. I don't count that. Okay, awesome, awesome, cool. Well, everyone's of course more than welcome. We're happy to be here. So excited that Dianne is joining us. She'll be sharing some really cool stuff that's very relevant. I don't know if you've heard of something called AI. So anyway, but let's get started. So I'm gonna hand it off to Beto, and yeah, Beto, take over.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this event tonight. So just to give you a little background, my name is Beto Navarro. I'm a senior product designer at Amazon. I started the group 6 years ago in the middle of the pandemic. As you remember, there was only 10 attendees on the first event, remote, but we have come a long way since then. We started doing in-person events like around 3 years ago, and a lot of people, thank you for the support. The people that come back. If you're a newcomer, welcome. This is an open space for you. We don't judge. We want to learn. We want to communicate with everyone. We want to meet people, right? I think that has been a big feedback when we're doing these events, that people get to know each other, work together, even make friends. So that's the big purpose about doing these events. We are volunteers, Jonathan, myself, Jackie, and the people that you have seen on the front desk and around with these kind of like tags. But we do because we want to, grow the community, make everyone feel welcome, and just learn something together. That's at the end of the purpose that we want to do this. So yeah, Jackie, if you want to present yourself.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. It's so good to see some familiar faces here today. Milena and Melanie, thank you for coming. And just like what Beto said, we are volunteers. We do this because we love the community and we want to bring us all together and learn and network. So, welcome again. Again, I'm a UX UI designer. Sorry, I forgot to talk about my background. UX UI designer. Prior to that, I was a graphic designer, and I joined Beto a few years ago. And later on, we had Jonathan joining the team. So, in any case, thank you, and I hope you guys enjoyed this event.
Thank you, Jackie. And I'm Jonathan. I'm a product design manager at DocuSign. And yeah, I joined Beto and Jackie. It's been 5 years, I think. So it's been a while. And we're very excited for y'all to be here. So let's continue. We would love to give our awesome volunteer team a shout out. You have Monty over here with the camera. We have Mayuri over here. And then we have Sharon also, who's our volunteer lead. Of course, we are one chapter with, who's part of a, global network of chapters. We have one of our awesome remote, if you're a remote designer or a remote UX professional, we have the leader of that remote, Friends of Figma remote over here, Elena. So if you want to find out more about that, you want to maybe volunteer, maybe you want to know what she's up to, she does remote events global. So please. But yeah, you can go to friends.figma.com/the city. There's, I don't know how many chapters, but there's more than 200. So, if you happen to be in Spain, there's one in Barcelona, Madrid, there's everywhere. So we are the Miami one. Here in Florida, we also have one in Fort Lauderdale and I think one in Orlando, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, follow them in socials, follow us in socials. And we can't, do this alone. There's other community groups here in Miami. If you're not familiar, Fluxia is one of the basically like the first one of the first UX communities here in Florida. They have a Slack channel. I don't know how active it is, but it was active back in the day. But yeah, feel free to join, of course. And then we have Product People Meet in Miami. This is more like a networking event. They get product managers, designers, founders, even like venture capitalists. So what? And Sarah from. Oh yeah, so Sarah, I don't know if you're familiar with Sarah. She actually is founded Fluxia, and then also she's part of so she's huge in the community. And then we have the lab in Miami. They're also our partners. We did an event there last year. They're a co-working space, like a workday type, not workday. Yeah, like a co-working space, but they also do a lot of events. So just go to the website. They have like so many events about like just AI and vibe coding and venture capitalists and just everything. So yeah, we just wanted to highlight those community groups. All right, and with that, I would love to hand it off to Lorena. So please, let's give Lorena a round of applause. Thank you, Lorena.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome, and thank you so much for Friends of Figma for joining us, and thank you for you all to also come out here. Welcome to the University of Miami. For any of you that haven't been here, this is our campus. It's a beautiful space. My name is Lorena Lopez. I'm a faculty member. Please come in. I'm a faculty member here in the Department of Interactive Media, and I'm also the director of the Master of Fine Arts in Interactive Media. So that's the director part. I teach, and then I lead our graduate students to amazing heights. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were pointing at someone behind me. I'm sorry. I'm like, what's up? Okay, hi. Okay, well, so many people. I can see even more of you in the back now. This is crazy. Thank you all for coming out here. This is one of my big dreams since I've been at the university and in this department is to bring the design community here so that it's not really just about our students learning from us as faculty, but learning from you guys as well. Because really, we are Miami. We are Figma, Friends of Figma in Miami, but we're also the university, so we really want to create a big environment about this. Our department really is centered a lot around what we're going to be speaking about today, so where we're not just designing, building, and shipping. That is what we're training our students to do. We're not just building designers, we're not just training them on just creating these prototypes or just these designs, but how do you design these pieces? How do you build them and develop them? And then transform through them, whether it's social change or visuals, whatever you want to create. So we're really entering this point in a lot of different avenues. So we're offering bachelor's, minors, and graduate degrees in interactive media, immersive, and experience design. So if you're interested in learning anything more about our programs, I've got a QR code to our website. There are folders that I know some of you have already grabbed. Also, please take hats. We love hats. Wear your hats. But we're also going to be doing a tour later on at some point this evening of some of our lab spaces. So if you're interested in getting to see where our students are working and what those lab spaces look like, find me and we will give you a nice little tour. And we're bringing in more chairs. So if you see me moving around, I'm trying to get more seats for you guys. Thank you so much. Welcome to UM, and let's have a good time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lorena. Thank you. I actually got the tour last week, and it's really awesome. The facilities that they have here for the students, like really top of the line, right? So yeah, if you're interested, she's gonna be giving a tour after. Want to say after? Cool. All right, and with that, I would love to welcome Dianne. Dianne, let's give Dianne a round of applause. Dianne, she is actually a Friends of Figma attendee. She's been to some of our events, and I've always wanted to bring her over. She has so much knowledge and experience, and she'll tell you more about herself. But yeah, let's give her another round of applause, and I'll hand it off. So we're gonna do a little switch here.
Hey guys, how's everyone? Good. Okay. So today I'm going to be showing you guys a design to code workshop. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with AI, like Jonathan said. Maybe I'll do a little intro first. So my name's Dianne. I am the CEO and co-founder of the Design Project. The Design Project is one of the first subscription-based design agencies. We work with startups that have been funded. Some of our startups have been acquired by NVIDIA, Slack, Mr. Beast, and we are basically going in and we are working with product teams and we are implementing AI into our processes today. One of the biggest things that I have seen that has changed the game is me being able to actually take my designs and front end code. So I can now hand off front end code to my product teams, which is really a game changer. It speeds everything up. That's what I'm going to show you guys today. So first of all, I want to understand the people in the room. How many of you are students here today? Nice. Okay. How many of you are product designers working in the space now? Nice. Okay. How many of you guys are already using AI in some of your processes? Perfect. Okay. And how many of you are pushing code? How many of you are actually... Nice. That's awesome. Okay, great. That's great to hear. Okay, so for all of us, does this sound familiar? It's kind of the old way, right? We used to spend time with PRDs and we would get PRDs as designers. We would maybe go to wireframes. We would do inspo. We would do V1, V2, V3 in Figma. And then eventually, once we get approval, we would take our Figma, we would annotate it, and then hand it off to devs. And then devs would go and build it. And then we would have to go and review it. And then we would iterate on it. And eventually, we would get to the final version. That's the old way. That way, I personally think is going to be the past very soon. What you're going to learn today is understanding the new design to code workflow, learning tools, building a real product. We're actually going to build a real product today, and leave with everything you need to actually take it into your company and start shipping code. So how many of you have been able to set up your environment? Do you have GitHub? You have Cursor installed, Claude Code, Figma MCP? Can I get a show of hands? I'm just curious how many we got. Okay, no worries. So the ones that have, you guys can actually join me and we can do this together. For those that haven't, that's no worries. You're going to see how I do it and how you can do it when you set it up and when you get to that level. Also, I know that this is going to be on YouTube, so you will be able to reference this video when you guys are ready to. Sound good? Perfect. Okay, I also brought some guests with me. I brought Elena, who is head of product at Arrive, and she is on the forefront of AI, doing many things as a designer with AI. And I also brought Viro here, who is a lead AI ML software engineer. So do we have any other engineers in the room? Oh, there you go.
One. Yes, one.
Oh, two. Perfect.
There we go. Perfect. So to set the stage, for those of you that are going to walk along this process with me, and for those of you that are just watching, there are a lot of things that happen when you start to code. A lot of things break. There's a lot of troubleshooting. This is definitely going to happen. I'm sure we'll run into some errors that we're going to have to fix together. But if you guys have questions along the way and you feel stuck, you can raise your hand and Elena and Viro will try to help you. Again, maybe they won't be able to because we might need to do more troubleshooting, but I wanted to bring them along because they are experts. And if you guys do need some help, they are happy to help you. Okay, what are we going to be working on today? We are going to be redesigning the LLM Council. What is that? What are we doing? Okay, so first, this is an open source project. Basically, open source means anyone can have access to the code. They can edit the code, they can do their own thing, they can post, they can basically take the code and do what they want with it. It's open, everyone has access. This project is created by Andre Karpathy. Who knows Andre Karpathy? Anyone here? Okay. Andre Karpathy, he basically came up with the term vibe coding. So he's like on the forefront of AI. He was a founding member of OpenAI. He used to work with Tesla. If you guys don't already, you should follow him on X because he's always on the cutting edge and he's like pushing the boundaries of what AI can do. So it's super exciting. For a weekend project, he built this thing called LLM Council. LLM Council is basically a place where you can ask a question to AI and all of the AIs will answer, and then all of the AIs will grade each other's answer, and then there's going to be there's going to be a council that decides which answer is best. So it's kind of cool. And for us to get started, is first we need to access the repo, the open source repo. So I have this bit.ly link here. If you guys go and open this link, you're going to get to this. This is the LLM Council GitHub. We are actually going to take this, we're going to copy it, and now we're going to go into Cursor. Cursor is basically a CLI. It's a place where you can interact with code on your computer. So if you guys don't have this view, you basically go and you say new window. When you go into new window, you're going to go to clone repo and you're going to paste. Okay, so now you need to create a folder where all of your projects are going to live. What we're doing right now is we are taking that GitHub repo and we are putting it on our computer locally so that we can take it and we can manipulate it, play with it, whatever we want to do. And then we're going to push it back to the code base in GitHub at the end. So I have this folder called coding. That's what I suggest you guys do. I'm in just my computer. I have coding. And then this is where I have all my projects. So create a folder called coding. And then we're going to select as repository destination. And you're going to hit that. And you're going to hit open. And now your project is officially on your computer. So for all of you guys that are struggling to clone, do you see this chat when you open Cursor? You guys have a chat? You can actually paste the GitHub link and say, clone this repo. This is how you code with AI. It's constantly, there's 10 million ways to do it, and there's always going to be an issue. Okay, I'm going to keep moving for time's sake. If you guys keep getting stuck, don't worry. This is going to be a lot of information, but we'll keep moving. Okay, so for all of you that have your GitHub repo in Cursor, I'm going to show you how to use Claude Code. So Ozzy brought up, if you do not have a Claude Code paid account, you can't use Claude Code. Most of you should have set it up before, but if you didn't, you can use the chat, the native AI Cursor chat. I prefer Claude Code personally because I think it's just connected to way more, and Claude Code's always like on the cutting edge of coming out with AI, but that's my preference. So whatever you guys want to use. Okay, so I'm actually going to change some things around. Let me show you guys, how many of you have Claude Code set up in Cursor right now? You got stuck? Okay, so did you guys do this ahead of time? If not, then, oh, you did? Okay, perfect. So Cursor, do you see this little change layout button up here? Okay, if you go to settings, this is weird. I think there's a shortcut, but I have weird shortcuts on my computer, so it's not working. But essentially, if you click more actions, do you see Claude Code open? You don't see it? Okay. So I think that you guys can go ahead. If you didn't set up the cursor within Claude Code, that's totally fine. I'm going to show you how to use Claude Code within Cursor. There's actually one other way. Let me show you. Sorry. Let's go to our terminal. So if you click here, do you see this terminal right here? You guys have that? Okay, so if you've set up Claude, you can type in Claude, enter, and Claude Code is going to start running in the terminal. Is that working for some of you guys? Cool. So when you're in the terminal, just type Claude. Okay, so for you guys who are struggling to get Claude Code up in Cursor, what the workaround is, you're gonna click and you're gonna make sure that this panel shows up. So it's gonna be here. You're gonna click here, and you're gonna go to this little 4 icons extensions, and you're gonna click here. Claude Code for VS Code. Claude Code 4. Okay, then go with that one, and then install, and that should get you up and running. For you guys that have it ready to go, the next step is that we now are going to ask Claude Code to read the readme .md file and download dependencies. Read the readme file and download dependencies. So, what does this mean? This means that Claude Code is going into the README, which is basically defining the code base and explaining all of the rules. Dependencies are basically external, think of like open source platforms that the product that you're using relies on. So what it's doing is it's going into the README, and now it is. So the next step is we have to put in a secret password so that we are able to use this platform. So for you guys that are working at companies, you're on their repos, they most likely will have a passcode for you to be able to access. It's in the form of a .env file. So what you guys need to do is I've actually created a .env file with $50 credit for all of us to use to be able to actually use LLM Council. So if you guys want to go to this bit.ly link right here, this is the last one, I promise. We're going to create a .env file that's storing this secret for us. You're going to copy that code. And now you are going to go into Cursor and you're going to hit this new file. Do you guys have this set up? If you click here, you will be able to see the folders, okay? So you're going to click this new file and you're going to say .env, enter. When you do that, this should pop up. Now you're going to paste. Go. You're going to paste that code. Once you paste that code, you're going to save. Command S, old school. So now we can close this window if we want. We're going to go back to Claude Code. So the next step, we need to run the servers. What does run the server mean? This is, for all of us designers, this is where we're actually going to see the front end of the product, and we should run the back end so that it functions. So I'm going to go and say, start servers in background. So you're going to type start servers in background, enter. So once you save it, you put the .env file, it's saved.
Yeah, doesn't matter the location or the location
You
matters.
just have to have a .env file in your.
It's there somewhere. It's just a false window.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so then you're good to go. So now you're going to come in and we're at this stage where you're going to say start servers in background. Okay, so sorry, now I'm caught up with some of you guys. We're now going to go open the front end server. This is LLM Council. It's really bad UI, so that's one of the reasons I chose this project. Andre Karpathy is a genius, but he's clearly not a designer. So now that we're here, this is kind of where the fun starts, is we're actually going to make changes. Actually, sorry, let me show you how it works first. I forgot this point. Oh, maybe we don't want to. Never mind. I'm gonna skip that part. Okay, so we're now gonna make changes to this page directly in the code. So I'm gonna come in back here and I am going to say something like, you are a world-class product designer. I want to redesign this page to look like the presentation link. I want you to adhere to the colors, the shapes, and the movement of the presentation. Make sure that you are first planning this out for me. So when I said I want it to look at the presentation, I'm going to send it this. I'm going to send it the presentation you guys are looking at. I actually want to also say, look at the presentation link. Just focus on this first page. Okay, I'm going to explain this in a second, but I'm going to start running it because it's going to take a minute. What do I mean here? Okay, a few things. You are a world-class product engineer. I like to say this to set the stage with my AIs of what they're doing. I actually asked Viro this question before we got here of like, is this still something that people do? Because I was worried that people don't do this anymore because AI moves so quickly. He told me that because we are designing, that it definitely still it makes sense because Claude Code is thinking about code. So when you give it this prompt, it's like shifting its mindset, I guess you could say, and it's trying to think more like a designer. So when I say you're a world-class designer, that's that piece. And then I quickly came up with this prompt. Honestly, I'm sure you guys have looked at prompting and everything. You could go into way more detail, but we're going to just wing it and see what happens with this. The other really important thing to note is this thing I said at the end. Make sure that you are first planning this out for me. Claude Code has a planning mode, a plan mode. This has been a game changer for me because basically what I'm telling it is before you go and do anything, think about it, look at the code, and come up with an idea and ask questions so that we can validate together that the plan makes sense. Since I started doing planning mode, I have way less back and forth. So I do this with almost every time I'm prompting Claude Code. So basically, another thing for you guys is it's clearly asking me a lot of questions. Some of them I don't know the answers to. Some of them I like to look at and I'm trying to, oh, it's actually, I see what it's doing. But it's code. A lot of it's code. And the best way to learn how to prompt better, how to work better with Claude Code is to actually start to read this and understand what Claude Code is doing. I think it's a really great way to learn more about. So you can say it, you can say, but also, yes, there's the toggle, which you can use too. Good question. We have some time who has questions, yes. I will send this to you guys, yes, so you can go through it yourself, for sure.
Can we use something else like a random website?
Please use whatever you want. This was, oh, sorry, yes, you don't have to use this presentation. Thank you, good point. Put whatever prompt you want. Do you want it to look like Claude.ai? Do you want it to, I don't know, your favorite website? You want it to look like Sesame Street? Whatever you want to do, you can prompt it and see what happens. This is like part of the fun. I'm still in plan mode because I think I gave it too big of a, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys what some of you guys have already been here. Plan mode. I suggest don't ever just accept plan mode. This is your opportunity to go and chat with Claude Code to make sure that it understands what you want. So I'm not going to go into all the details here, but I really suggest that you guys look at what it's saying. It's going to modify these files. This is the front end components it's going to bring in. And then it's telling me it's verification. Sometimes it's not asking me questions, I think, because of the prompt, but sometimes it asks additional questions that are super enlightening. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to set this well. I'm like, oh, I never thought about that idea. This is super interesting. So I think it's just a way to also understand how Claude Code thinks about things, because it's looking at the code base. So it's also understanding how the platform's being built, which is really cool. Okay, we're gonna keep moving. How many of you guys have a new design? Okay, maybe we'll look into that. Okay, so this looks funny, but it did adhere a little bit to my presentation. So if we go back here, this is kind of what the presentation looks like. So, okay. This is one way that you can work within the design, right? You don't even need to go to Figma. You could literally just prompt it. And you can continue to go deeper in this, right? Like you can go on every single detail. You can chat with Claude Code and make it what you want. First, so I want to show you Figma, but before I show you how to get it in Figma, there's an important step. It's basically called commit. So what commit means is basically you're saving the file. You're saving a snapshot of your project. I like to commit once you have something that is decent. So think of it old school when you used to have to save, I don't know, like your Word doc or whatever. It's basically the same thing. So every time you feel like you're making progress and you're at a good point and you want to keep that version, you're gonna commit. So you can just say, I want to commit this design, or maybe not design, this code. I want to commit this code, enter. And it's going to save the snapshot. So you have this reference. This took me a while to remember. Like I usually would forget to commit and then I'd go and I'd make all these changes. And then I went into it. It ended up messing up the design. And then I wish I could have gone back to that exact point where I felt like it was in a good place. So lesson learned the hard way. Okay, so all changes look correct. Let me stage and commit. How are we doing? We're committing? We're good? Cool. Okay. So the next step is, how many of you guys have set up your Figma MCP? Okay, cool. So we're going to kind of reverse engineer this. As you guys probably saw, Figma now, you can take code and bring it into Figma, which is really cool. Also, you can do it the other way, which is, what's your name? Joseph, you are doing it the other way. You are taking Figma design into the product. So you can do it both ways, but I'm going to show you how to take the design that you came up with, and we're actually going to turn it into Figma right now. So what you're going to say, so if you have your Figma MCP open, working, hopefully it's working for you guys, you're basically just going to say, turn this screen into a Figma. Enter. And now it should bring your design directly into Figma. Oh no, my Figma MCP isn't working. Okay, so hopefully some of this worked for you guys. It looks like my Figma MCP is not working. Is it working for you guys? It is? Yay! Did you get it into Figma? Yeah. Let's see. I want to see. Yay! Amazing. Super cool.
Yeah, this is the
Yeah,
send my portfolio.
perfect. Super cool. So yeah, this is, I think the one, well, I think the one caveat to bringing these to bring it into Figma is it's not necessarily pulling, it's not necessarily creating the right tokens and components. If your code is set up well, it can get there. But so far I found it to be a little tricky. So it's more of like a, hey, I'm going to bring it in so I can play with it, but it's not in a final state, if that makes sense. I also want to tell you guys, I think some of you guys were bringing in your own Figma designs thinking that you could turn them into code, which you can. That's simple. The reason why I wanted to show you how to take an existing repo is because those of you who work at companies and want to start to implement this is more of the process to actually work on top of a code base that exists today. You still can absolutely take the Figma and put it into that code base. But this was just a different way to show you guys how to do it. Does that make sense? So when you're working on the code base, so let's say your company has their own component library, you're designing in it, they're building in it. What's really cool is you don't have to use Figma in the same way, because if you're using the repo and the code base, you can say, hey, create a welcome screen using the company components, and you could be specific, right? You could say the primary button, the form field, and it's going to actually create it without you having to go into Figma. It's going to create it because it already has that code and it already knows how to do it. So it's going to spin it up really quickly. So that's why I personally think there's going to be less use of Figma. I think where Figma comes into play is when you're working on more complex features. Some of you guys might have different opinions. This is just my own. When you're working on more complex features, that's when I still see the value of Figma a lot. But if you're just trying to make a quick change, I think you don't need Figma to do a quick change overall. Does that answer your question? Okay, how's everyone doing? You got your file in Figma? We're gonna do one last thing now. We're now, oh, I don't know if mine actually went into Figma. That's okay. Now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna make a change in your Figma, and then we're gonna bring it back into code. So in your Figma file, go change something, fix something, make a design decision that you're going to bring back in. Go ahead. Actually, I'm going to do this really fast. Sorry. Let's change this to white. Let's remove here. Okay, this is my new button, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this change back in to code. So I am going to copy this link. I actually just went directly to selection. You could also do the whole thing. I'm going to come back and I'm going to say, here's my Figma selection for the new conversation button. Apply this new design. I probably would have said it better, but you guys get the idea. I'm going to paste that link and I'm going to hit enter. So now I'm making a change in Figma that's going to be applied to the code. Does that make sense? We're good? Sure. So let's say that you coded something, you brought it into Figma. What's the point of bringing it into Figma? Maybe you want to play with the spacing. Maybe you want to change you're a designer, right? Maybe you want to rethink something. You want to get into the pixel pushing versus just doing it all in code. There's also this whole design system piece, which I am not going to touch on yet because that's a whole other beast. But, well, okay, I mean, essentially it's, this way doesn't work well for components. Like if I can build a component now out of this, so I could create the styles, the tokens, and everything, and I could bring it back in to Claude Code, and it'll actually adhere to the tokens and the styling, which is really cool. But why I'm not showing it too much here is because it doesn't actually have anything here yet. So I would have to like create all that. But there is a lot of really interesting things coming out about design systems and how you can do more with code and design systems, which maybe could be a talk for another time at some point. But essentially why I would want to do this is I just want to play in Figma and I want to get it pixel perfect, or I want to try different things and I don't just want to talk to it because I'm a designer.
Right. Like,
Okay, let's see. It now says I lost all my too many screens open. Okay, there we go. You see my button is the new button. It even added a hover state. I didn't ask you to. That's nice. So to kind of wrap things up, you know how we committed? Well, oh, sorry, we're a little this way. There we go. Well, now we want to push. What does push mean? Push is when we have committed code and we're ready to take it from our local computer and put it back into the repository so that our whole team gets access to the changes that we've made. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're basically going to say commit and push. So a side note is if you guys remember, we're building this on an open source project, which means that we're not necessarily going to be pushing these changes to the open source project. But what it is going to do is it's actually going to take our GitHub and it's going to create this project and it's going to push changes in our GitHub. So then we can share to other people that want to see how we designed it. Oh, so see, it says push to your own fork. Yes. So it's actually telling me right now, it can't do what I said. It can't push it. So push to own fork. So that's basically means I'm forking the project. I'm taking the project and I'm putting it in my own space. If you guys explore this project further, or if you guys want to work on other open source projects, you can, hold on, where's my slide? You can contribute a pull request, which I'll show you in a second, which essentially means that you can create a pull request to the open source and they can see it and then they can accept it or deny it. So you can get your stuff out there. So if there's someone you admire like Andre Karpathy and you want him to see something really cool you've done, you can do a pull request to his open source and he might see it and accept it and make changes, which is super cool. Does that make sense? Are you guys still with me? I know it's been a long evening. Okay, I'm going to show you guys this final. So this is my project in my personal GitHub. There's this contribute button, which is what I was saying. If you want to open a pull request and send it to the owner, the original of the open source project, this is how you can do it, which is super cool. But this is basically the end. So you guys just built a product. Congrats. That's super exciting. I would love to know how many of you were successful. Can I get a raise of hands when you got it? Okay. I hope you guys got value out of it, even if you didn't get all the way. And we will be sending this slide deck and the presentation and the YouTube as well, so you guys could follow along again. But thank you guys so much.
All right. Let's give another round of applause, please. That was awesome. Just like Dianne said, this is trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. The more you tinker with it, the more comfortable you're in it. Of course, there is some of us who are more familiar. Maybe you have an engineering background, right? So it's much easier. Some of us who've never touched, right, a tool like this. So it's, of course, it's different. So just keep tinkering with it. Keep doing it. Let's move to a Q&A. So if anyone has any questions, please let us know. Okay, so Beto has a question. What's up, Beto?
Dianne, regarding cursor,
Yes.
right? I mean, cursor is, I guess, similar to, VS Code. For example, at work, Amazon, I use VS Code.
Yes.
I use Kiro.
Yes.
I don't know if you're familiar with Kiro.
Yes.
So, but, versus cursor, are there any difference? Is the same? Or I can just, I know that Elena just runs in the terminal. So, what are the advantages, the differences, your recommendations? Is cursor is because it's cool, is in, or you can use anything really?
Great question. So I used cursor here today because I think it's the beginning steps where we had to clone and all of that. That is that's the easy. I found the easiest way to do that if you don't have a coding background is to do it in cursor. So I started on cursor. It was like my training wheels. I now use something called Ghosty, which I don't know engineers. I hear it's like the hip thing to use. But that's what everyone tells me. But
So ghosty of you.
so ghosty. But essentially it's a terminal.
Okay.
So I'm not an expert here, but my answer is I think cursor is great for beginners to understand the files and to easily. You don't have to go into code. When you go into terminal, you do have to use code to do things, which is like the next step that you would go in. I don't think there's like a right or wrong. I think I've seen designers use a whole bunch of different tools. Anti-gravity, I know people are using Claude Code and anti-gravity now. I was pushed really hard to use just a terminal like Ghosty, so that's what I've been doing, and I enjoy it because it's just really clean. And I feel like I can just do it here, and then I can see my designs and running in the local server. So does that answer your question kind of? Okay.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? And another thing, like tools, anyone has used Vercel, like V0, which was originally for prototyping. Now they've actually moved towards shipping and being able to push into GitHub. So all tools are like sort of like trying to compete, right, for our attention, for our dollars. But yeah. Anyway, any questions? Any thoughts? Okay, we have a question.
Are you guys tired?
Are you guys tired? We have a raffle, so please don't leave.
No, I was wondering what other use cases you've found for cursor since you've been using it for a while. Like I'm sure you've come up with new and exciting ways to play with it. So what else have you done with it?
Yeah, I'll talk about Claude Code specifically. So cursor is really an IED, which basically means you're just like running code in AI within it. So Claude Code, does that make okay? Claude Code is basically like changed my life. So I can do anything in Claude Code now. Like I built my presentation, you guys like.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you guys saw it already. Like I literally just prompted it and I took designs from Figma and I built a presentation. I created a Claude Code skill. I don't know if you guys have heard of skills for PRDs, which is basically a way where it's not just, probably a lot of you guys have done ChatGPT and you created like a project and then you created a PRD out of a project where you just give it a bunch of knowledge. But the benefit of Claude Code is if you're asking it, if you're already in a repo and you're asking it to create a PRD, it's actually looking at the code base and it's actually able to create a PRD based on all the knowledge that it has of the product that you're using in a way that no one else can. I mean, honestly, you could use Claude Code for everyday things. You don't even have to like asking questions, anything you want. So I use it for like pretty much every use case you could think of. And that's kind of my go-to these days.
Yeah, and you saw OpenAI also came up with Codex, which is basically the the competitor for Cloud Code. We have a question over here, Cindy.
Thanks so much. How do you think the relationship, I guess the working relationship between like PMs, product designers, and then software engineers has changed since you've been using such tools?
Yeah, in my opinion, all the roles have kind of like merged. So now PMs can do prototypes, which I think is really cool. If any of you guys have your PMs that are like, hey, I have this idea for a design and they're prototyping it, they're basically they're feeding you exactly what they're thinking, and then you can take it to the next level. So I think that's been really awesome. I think now designers can code. Literally, we just did it. Engineers, I don't know, engineers are still not wanting to design, maybe a little PRDs. Maybe they still kind of stick to their own lane, in my opinion. But I definitely think it's like merging. And I definitely think that my personal opinion is every designer should be up to date and should be learning these tools, because I think it's really going to make or break like how product teams function. It's all going to be cross-functional in the end. Exactly.
Cool. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Diane. Thank you so much.